This is on a GoToMeeting virtual format and is being recorded by NCM. Is there any other entity filming this or recording this?
I am. It's Sandy, I am. Mark.
Sandy Moore from Norwood IT Department. Thank you, Sandy. First on the agenda, we have AIP project update with Du Bois and King.
Yep, thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Jeff Adler with Du Bois and King. Obviously we had our presentation of the technical master plan last month, and I know there was conditionally approved, so I'm assuming any comments that came in, have been given in, so are we assumed that that's approved at this point, Mr. Chairman?
There is one item that council is just reviewing, but for the most part, what was presented is will be accepted by the commission as voted on, but we're still waiting on one minor detail from town council to report back on.
Okay, thank you. So the only other update is we did, based on that, the master plan itself, we did submit the, ultimate ALP for review by the commission, and I know it's on the agenda today, for review. So we have done that, and obviously it's up to the commission to review that and ultimately approve it as the final last step, and then that will be that ALP drawing will be then signed by the commission and then forwarded to MassDOT and FAA for approval once the commission has approved it, and that in essence will then close out the technical master plan. So that's basically the final steps for that. Moving forward, we have the environmental assessment that will start dealing with the issues that we talked about in the master plan, specifically the paved safety areas, most importantly, and the taxiway Charlie relocation. So those will be moving forward, upon conclusion and approval of the master plan and the ALP. Other than that, I know the commission got the grant from FAA for the post-construction monitoring, which is the monitoring for the mitigation area that we constructed when we did the taxiway alpha relocation. So that will be going on for the next 2 years to provide documentation to DEP that mitigation area is functioning properly and is doing what it needs to do. So other than that, I think that's it for me, unless there's any questions.
No questions for me. Anyone else in the commission?
No, none for John Cochran.
Okay, and we'll talk briefly a little bit later on about the ALP, Jeff.
Yes. Yep.
So if you just stick around.
I will.
All right. Is Mike Sheehan? I see he's on hold according to a text message. Nothing yet. Okay. Okay, next up on the agenda are the meeting minutes. These are the meeting minutes of the June 17th, 2020 regular business meeting. Is there a motion to accept these?
Motion made.
Motion made, and I second it. All in favor?
Aye.
I believe we got to do a roll call, Russ. Did someone say that from now on, these virtual meetings?
Mark, that was me, and this is Mina. Yes, you should.
Yes, we should. Okay, so motion has been made and seconded. Mr. Cochran?
Yes.
And Mr. Ryan votes yes. Next on the agenda, airport manager's report. Russ?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Unless there are any questions with regard to the written report, I'd like to let the written record stand.
Russ, just the hangar construction for the Lot ABC hangar that Flight Level is going to construct. Is there a planned meeting this Friday?
There is, we actually had as you know, we had a kickoff meeting a few weeks ago. The gentleman who was the project manager for the the company that will be doing the construction had a family emergency, and so that has put the project back a little bit, but we anticipate the first job meeting will be this Friday morning.
Thank you. That's be a welcome project, welcome addition. If we could just pause a sec. All right, everyone. Mike Sheehan, through the amazing technology of the cell phone, is speaking to us through our phone here at the conference room. Mike, can you hear us?
Yes, I can, Mark.
Can everyone else hear him? Was that
Yes,
clear?
I can hear him.
Great.
I can hear him fine.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. I know you had some things to address, and
Yep.
appreciate it. So next up on the agenda, some old business regarding some commercial permit applications. And Russ has provided us some recommendations, and I'll read it.
Yep.
All right. Recommend a motion to approve the following fiscal 2021 commercial permit applications, all renewals for the following businesses. Flight Level
Mark?
Norwood. Yes, Mike.
Okay, yep, I can hear you. I just lost you there for a minute.
Okay, all renewals for the following businesses. Flight Level Norwood LLC, Boston Executive Helicopters LLC, Aerial Productions LLC, Blue Hill Helicopters LLC. Is there a motion to approve these commercial permit applications?
So moved.
Motion has
And
been
seconded.
and seconded by John Cochran. Mike, we're going to do roll call on every vote. So
Okay,
motion made and seconded. Mr. Sheehan,
yes.
Mr. Cochran,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan votes yes. A second motion we'll be looking for. Recommend a motion to approve the fiscal year 2021 commercial permit application, a renewal application for the following business. HB Holdings LLC, doing business as Norwood Air. This commercial permit application include a written request to waiver the 2 aircraft minimum for a flight school requirement of the Norwood Airport minimum standards. Norwood Air has 1 twin engine aircraft. This waiver request is granted in the past. Is there a motion to approve this permit?
So moved with the allowance of the variance for the to waive the two aircraft requirement to 1 aircraft.
Motion made
And seconded.
and seconded. Thank you. Mr. Sheehan,
Yes.
Mr. Cochran,
Yes.
and Mr. Ryan votes yes. Next up on the agenda, we have a grant offer, and Mr. Adler from Du Bois and King mentioned it, FAA grant offer for providing funding for the post-construction monitoring for 2 years. This is with the Taxiway A project. This grant offer is the maximum obligation, the amount of $49,974. And Russ, we're looking for approval correct? So we can sign off and submit?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. That's going to be signed by both yourself and the attorney.
So we'd be looking for a motion to accept this FAA grant offer and authorize the chair to sign it.
So moved.
Motion made
And seconded.
and seconded. Thank you. And Mr. Sheehan,
Yes.
Mr. Cochran,
Yes.
and Mr. Ryan votes yes. Next up, Mass DOT change order number 2 for the Mark C. Welch Administration Building. Russ, is this the change order 2 is $82,123.90?
Mr. Chairman, it's actually a sum not to exceed $4,776.67. Again, change order 2. And this is actually more clerical than anything. These costs have been covered already by Mass DOT as well as the commission. This is to cover some of the over budget costs for the clerk of the works during the airport administration building project.
Thank you, Russ. I had the wrong form out. So we're looking to approve Mass DOT change order number 2 in the amount of $4,776.67.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Sheehan.
I'll make the motion, but just a question. Is the building now finished? Would this be the last acquisition for any monies or any change orders?
Mr. Chairman, just to add some information, the final payment voucher, which is actually also on the agenda, is the final payment voucher. It just had to be amended to cover the local share of the architectural fees. That will be the final payment voucher.
Okay, thank you, Russ. So moved.
Motion made
And second.
and seconded. Mr. Sheehan,
Yes.
Mr. Cochran,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan votes yes. Mass DOT final payment voucher. And Russ, is this, which one are we looking at here, Russ? We've got $3,000 one or?
Yes, that's correct, Mr. Chairman. It's for $3,027.47. It's an amended final payment voucher number 14. It's been amended so that the town will pick up $6,128.39 on those architectural fees. That was not reflected in the payment voucher, final payment voucher, which you signed a few weeks ago. That one had totaled $9,155.86. This amended final payment vouchers for $3,027.47. The difference is $6,128.39. That is the local share of the architectural fees that we'll cover.
So we're looking for payment voucher number 14 for the amount of $3,027.47.
Correct.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made,
Second.
seconded. Mr. Sheehan,
Yes.
Mr. Cochran,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan votes yes. And then the final here, Russ, the Mass DOT standing contract for the administration building. Can you talk a little bit about this one?
Yes, these are, this is the building project, the grant project rolled into FY 2021, the fiscal year we're currently in. So the Mass DOT had to send another standard contract to the Airport Commission. This $82,123.90 covers pay voucher number 12, which has already been approved by the commission, and this amended payment voucher number 14, as well as change order 2, which the commission just approved as well. So it's just more clerical, but it is something that was required by MassDOT and needs to be signed by the commission.
So a motion to update this Mass DOT standing contract, the amount of $82,123.90, and to authorize the chair to sign it. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made,
And second.
seconded. Mr. Sheehan,
Yes.
Mr. Cochran,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan votes yes. Next on the agenda is the airport layout plan drawing. We do not have that available to the commission right this minute. So Du Bois and King will get that to us prior to the next meeting, so you'll have time to review it. But basically, it puts in effect everything that, or just about everything that was at least technically part of the technical master plan update, with the different gate lanes that we discussed and approved, and primary surfaces, and some other items. So we're not going to vote on that today.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Sheehan.
I just want to, regarding that, I know when we went over that at the last meeting, there was individuals and an entity that wanted some more time to send in some comments, and I know that some comments were sent in, and just my question, I guess, to Russ and to Jeff is, did we respond to those comments that were sent in? Entities had 10 days.
Russ?
If this was the flight level response letter that was dated June 24th with the 2 exhibits, there has been no response on that. That was the only one I've received.
Yeah, Russ, my question is, did we forward that to Jeff so that Jeff can address any questions or concerns they might have? And also, did you say flight level? No other entities sending a response?
That's correct. Just the one response that was from flight level. Again, it was the June 24th, 2020 letter. Comments made on the 2020 technical master plan update. There were 2 exhibits, and that document with the exhibits was sent to Jeff Adler.
Okay, thank you, Russ. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. Next on the agenda, Russ, you're looking for approval to pay the invoice for the new piece of equipment that you received?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, recommend a motion to pay Coast Machinery LLC of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, for the sum of $193,691. And this is for the Marsh Master, which we took delivery of a few weeks ago. So just would like to pay that vendor. And that is actually 100% covered by Mass DOT. So I'll be putting if I get a favorable vote, I'll be putting a payment voucher together from Mass DOT.
So is there a motion to pay the invoice for the Mosh Master, $193,691?
Yeah, I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman, but can I ask a question?
Yes, Mr. Sheehan.
Russ, is there any training required to operate that machine? And does the vendor provide that training?
That's correct. The vendor actually drove the piece of equipment up from Louisiana and spent some time with Mr. Raymond, providing some in-house training for him.
That's great. That's great to know. Okay, I make the motion to approve.
Motion made
Seconded.
and seconded. Mr. Sheehan?
Yes.
Mr. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan votes yes. On our agenda, new business, there's an opening here to talk a little bit about the West Apron and the DC3 apron. They've basically been vacant since April of 2019, and we haven't been realizing any revenue from there. And after some time and some lease offers, we're still without a tenant for that. So any discussion on what we do going forward? This is close to 88,000 square feet of prime real estate. And, that's $44,000 in revenue that we're not realizing. And any thoughts from the commission?
Mr. Chairman, these are the tie downs that we had to issue eviction notices to?
This
Is that the area you're talking about?
This is the West Apron that we had to evict our tenants.
Tie down tenants.
Yep, tie-down customers, as well as the tenant Papa Whiskey, who had a monthly, at-will rent of the DC3 apron. Those have all been vacant since, Russ, correct me if I'm wrong, April of 2019. And
I believe you're correct, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman and Russ, is it possible that we reach out to those tenants and invite them back to Norwood Airport with a month-to-month type lease until we get to a point where we know exactly what we're going to be doing?
That
So we
would be
can
one.
realize.
Go ahead.
Okay, just so we can realize some much needed cash flow from that piece of property.
in that regard, I mean, Russ, we were probably 75% full when we managed that.
Right. I would say we were on average $16,000 to $18,000 a year in land lease or tie-down lease revenues during that last several years. I know that if we were to put out a land lease on one or both of those parcels and apply the same square footage rate that we have used in the recent past with the lease offers that went out to BEH and also to flight level on lots ABC, that I think the return could be much greater on a land lease than it could on tie-down leases.
What kind of number?
Okay, I was just thinking short term versus that's more long term, but that's acceptable as well.
I think what we're looking at is roughly about $44,000 if we were to land lease the West Apron and the DC3 apron, $44,000 versus $16,000 to $18,000 for tie downs.
Is there any
And,
interest? Oh, sorry, John. Go ahead. Sorry.
I made my statement based on the fact that until we're 100%, we know the direction we're going in. Would it be possible to reach out to those tenants and have that cash flow coming in? But if we can lease it out for $44,000, that's probably the way we should go.
Is there any interest to direct counsel, and Mina's on the line, to start drafting an RFP for this? Put it out?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Sheehan?
I like John's comments, but I think we can do this on kind of two tracks. Russ can reach out to the former tenants there and engage their interest. I know a lot of them that went to other airports, and at the same time, I like to direct council and Russ and you as the chairman to work on an RFP. And I would suggest that the RFP mirror somewhat the lease offering that was put out there to Boston Executive Helicopter. So that would be my motion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Sheehan. Is there a second on that?
And I'll support that. I second that.
Thank you. Motion made and seconded. Mr. Sheehan?
Yes.
Mr. Cochran?
Yes.
And Mr. Ryan votes yes. We have a number of items under correspondence. Most of them we've talked about. Is there a motion to file these correspondence?
Mr. Chairman, before I make that motion, I would ask, there was a correspondence that came in as an audio. I received it, and I think other members received it, and it's regarding the actions of an aircraft out of Norwood down in the Cape Cod area. I would like to ask that we have that audio transcribed and available as a correspondence that for the next meeting, so that we can put that also on file. And that would be my motion, and then the correspondence received in writing and this month to place on file.
Okay, so that audio recording would be transcribed and put on file. There's a motion by Mr. Sheehan for that. Is there a second?
I'm not exactly sure which incident that he's talking about. Is that the one that went to the FAA and the Norwood Tower?
No, Russ, can you explain, please?
Actually, Mr. Chairman, it was this, I think Commissioner Sheehan said that this was an audio from Cape Cod, unless I'm not hearing him correctly. I'm not.
Yeah, that's why I don't follow that as well.
No, I believe he said it was an audio that was sent to us of a Norwood business. And it was an incident or at least alleged incident going on down near the Cape Cod. I don't know if you could Plymouth or Cape Cod. I'm not sure where it is, but
This was a call that I received from a woman from Plymouth who
okay.
claimed that one of the aircraft that is based up here at Norwood was orbiting her house. She had called me. She had also called the airport manager for Plymouth. I think that's what we're talking about.
Yes.
Okay, I don't remember seeing anything about that. Oh, I'm sorry.
We can just have it transcribed because it is a correspondence and placed on file.
We
Right,
could do
John?
that.
Go ahead, John.
I'm sorry. I talked over Mr. Sheehan.
Nope, you're fine.
I did not hear what he said. I talked over it by accident.
All right, so Mr. Sheehan's talking about the audio that Russ received, and he's making a motion to have someone transcribe that and just put it away in the file.
And no other action, just transcribe the file and put it into the file.
Right, Mr. Sheehan, just put it in the file.
Yeah, just so we have it on file as we customarily do with all correspondence.
Okay, I will support that. I don't have any recollection of the event. I'm not sure which one you're talking about. But if you just want to transcribe it and put it on file, that's acceptable.
Mr. Chairman, if it's helpful, I'll amend my motion to have Russ transcribe it and then put it in next week's packet, so Commissioner Cochran has an opportunity to review it before placing it on file.
That's fair enough. John?
That's fine. If he puts it on, if you want to vote to put it on file right now, I can always review it when it goes on file. It doesn't matter to me. You guys decide how you want to handle it, and
Mr.
I'll
Sheehan,
support
you want to stay with your amendment?
Yeah, no, just so that's clear, and I apologize, John. I thought everyone had received it, and my apologies. So I would amend it so we transcribe it and then put it in the packet for next month for review by the commission.
Mr. Chairman, just as a heads up, this is a WAV file that if I were to transcribe it literally, might offend some people. So I just want to make sure that everybody's aware that we're not, would not transcribe in the Queen's English. Leave it at that.
All right, so Mr. Sheehan has made his motion to get it transcribed, and we'll have it at the next meeting to vote to put it on file. Is that right, Mr. Sheehan?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
And so a motion has been made
And second.
and seconded. Mr. Sheehan?
Yes.
Mr. Corcoran?
Yes.
And Mr. Ryan votes yes. So, unless there's something else, we do want to go into executive session for a couple of things. One being the executive session meeting minutes of June 17th. And also for purpose 3, to discuss strategy and obtain advice of counsel in respect to potential litigation against I.W. Harding. Russ, is that pertinent today, I.W. Harding?
Mr. Chairman, that's, there is some reference to that in the executive session minutes.
Okay. To discuss strategy and obtain advice of counsel with respect to potential litigation against I.W. Harding Construction Company in connection with the project known as AIP number 3-25-0037-38. If an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the litigating position of the Norwood Airport Commission. Number 2, for purpose 3, for executive session to discuss strategy with respect to litigation. If an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the litigating position of the Norwood Airport Commission. 1, Boston Executive Helicopter, LLC versus Town of Norwood. 2, Boston Executive Helicopter versus Norwood Airport Commission and Town of Norwood, as well as the executive session meeting minutes. We'll go into, if there is a positive vote for that. Also, we've been advised we can, if we're not going to come back to public session, we can close not only executive session, but the public session while we're still in executive session. So is there a motion to do so?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion. I'll just ask, I'm driving, I'm about 40 minutes from home. Could you call me and I'll be on speakerphone similar to this meeting?
Yes, I will.
Okay, so I make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made
And second.
and seconded. Mr. Sheehan?
Yes.
Mr. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan votes yes. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.